You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
It's Oh Behave with Arden Moore, the show that teaches you how to have harmony in the household with your pets. Join Arden as she travels coast to coast to help millions better understand why cats and dogs do what they do. Get the latest scoop on famous faces, their perfectly pampered pets, and who's walking who in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails. Garner great pet tips and have a doggone fur-flying fun time. So get ready for the pause and applause as we unleash your Oh Behave host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome to the Oh Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Raise your paw if you love a mystery. Now, if you love the challenge of unleashing your sleuthing skills to figure out the real cause or the culprit, well, you're in for a real treat today, listeners. On our show today is an award-winning author and cat behavior consultant, and she uses her savvy detective skills to solve litter box mysteries. I'm talking the whodunit, the why, and how to prevent future incidents of litter box misdeeds. I want us all to give pause and applause to the one and only Dusty Rainbolt. Welcome to the show, Dusty.
Well, Arden, thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm glad to be here with you and your audience.
Awesome. Now, Dusty Rainbolt is many things. She's a multi-talented, highly creative author and cat expert, and she's on a mission to educate people on all things CAT. Now, she infuses her wickedly good sense of humor. She has a lot of science-backed information in her newest must-get book now. I love the title. Ready, folks? It's called Cat Scene Investigator. Solve your cat's litter box mystery. Think of this book as the CSI for so-called cat crimes. Right, Dusty?
That's right. We look at it as a cat crime. Many times it's not a crime. So many times the cat is actually the victim.
Ooh.
Yeah, have you ever watched some of these detective shows? And, the guy goes in and he robs the bank, and then when they finally catch up with him, they find out that his kids are being held hostage or somebody's threatening him in some way. And he's the victim, and so is the cat sometimes.
That's right, and we're going to find out more about this, but to see if you do have a litter box boycotter in your house or a feline pee perpetrator or just an innocent victim. Because Ace Detective Dusty is on our show, and she's going to help you crack the case. She's also going to identify causes as well as offer solutions for feline householding. There's a double goal. She wants to restore that bond that you have with your cat, allow you to take, finally, a deep breath, and once again smell fresh air in your house. So, sit, purr. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Time for a pause. 4 furry ones, actually. Sit and stay. Oh Behave will be right back.
It's DesignerPetSweaters.com. Hand-knitted designer sweaters for your precious pup or cool cat. Beautiful couture patterns for your pets, including custom-knitted formal wear, casual wear, yachting, and even sports-themed. Many designer pet sweaters include feathered tammy hats, top hats, and a lot of sparkle. Each sweater includes leg loops, front paw sleeves, and leash opening. Visit DesignerPetSweaters.com to order your 4-legged fashions today. Your pets will stay warm for the winter and be runway ready. Large or small, we fit them all. DesignerPetSweaters.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com. Oh Behave is back with more tail-wagging ways to achieve harmony in the household with your pets. Now, back to your fetching host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome back to the Oh Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Our special guest is also a very good friend of mine and a definite ally to all cats all over this planet. Now, Dusty Rainbolt is an award-winning author. She's a cat behavior consultant. She's editor of AdoptAShelter.com. And most recently, she has combined her love of science and mysteries to produce a fascinating new book called Cat Scene Investigator. Solve your cat's litter box mystery. Oh, I love the title, Dusty. I mean, what inspired you to write this book?
Well, so many times litter box problems are multifaceted. Sometimes it's a behavior problem. Sometimes it's an environmental problem. Sometimes they're afraid. There are just so many reasons behind it. Maybe it's a combination of all of the above. And there is no one answer. You can't just say, "Oh, well, do this." You have to find out what the kitty's motive is, and then only after you know why he's avoiding the box can you rectify the problem.
And
so,
we're gonna give you everybody. I was gonna just say, Dusty's willing to give you guys an autographed copy. We're gonna let one of the lucky listeners get their paws on Cat Scene Investigator, autographed by the one and only Dusty Rainbolt. All you have to do is just email Arden at Pet Life Radio and put Cat CSI in the subject header, and we'll get you connected with Dusty. But you've got to find out the kitty's motive, Dusty. And I have to tell people this. I've been dying to say this on the air with you, Dusty. Are you getting nervous?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know me. Yeah, okay. So I have been on not one, but two, one of those things called the escape rooms. Like you have to get an hour, get out of this room, and you got to use clues, and you got to work with friends and strangers. You get in a group. And I have been on two of these escapades with the one and only Dusty Rainbolt. And I got to say, folks, she's kind of the team leader. So your sleuthing skills are not only good with litter box issues, but helping us. Tell us about your view of those escape rooms.
Oh, they are. Oh, and let me tell you, Arden Moore is fabulous too. She looks at the clues and she gets them done. Escape room, the new craze. You go to these places. They lock you in a room and you have an hour to escape. And they don't actually lock you in. So if you're
we don't want to scare people.
Yeah, don't worry about it. But they leave clues, and you have to use the clues and follow the different clues to get to the conclusion. I love your analogy. It's very much like what you have to do when you see the cat going outside the litter box. And let me first say the most important thing is especially if this is a brand new behavior.
Right.
First thing, take your cat to the vet.
Thank you.
So many times, it is the first sign of an illness, and maybe it's just a small thing, and it can be taken care of. Maybe it's parasites, maybe it's something like that. But also, many times it's the first sign of something very serious. So one thing I try to convince people is that the sooner you get the cat to the vet, the easier it's going, and easier and less expensive it's going to be to treat the problem. If you catch it early, then it's just so much less involved. You can, maybe it's something you can treat with pills or a shot. But
right.
If you wait, some of these things become advanced and even lethal. So please take Kitty to the vet when you notice he's peeing or pooping outside the box.
I'm so glad you jumped right on that, because that's very much early on in your book, and you give us friendly nudges along the way. This book is a great book from many standpoints. You've got like a who's who of experts that you've tapped. There's several pages where you are citing the works of very big experts in the feline health and behavior and veterinary world. A lot of folks with what I call Vanna White initials after their name. I give you kudos for that. I also like that you're very telling the reader, hey, don't give up. And I got to read a little paragraph on page 3 that Dusty will make you all feel at ease. And she writes, don't panic, don't give up. I'll guide you to your destination in the state of calm and fresh. Kiss your cat. Put on your rubber gloves. It's time to get started. You are now officially a cat scene investigator. That's a great way to get people, because this is a dirty, smelly, stinky little secret in American homes, right, Dusty?
It is. I mean, even if you don't have problems with a cat, you've gone into friends' homes and you go, oh, are you having a little trouble with your cat? You know.
Well, that's a kind way of doing it. I can see other people going, what the? That stinks. Right?
Exactly. So, but, it's not, if you work at it, you can overcome it. You can. It takes work and detective savvy.
Well, do you think you were a detective in your previous life? I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe I was. Maybe I was Sherlock Holmes' little sister or something. I'm not sure.
Well, right off after you're urging people to please get the kitty checked out to make sure it's not a medical issue, underlying medical issue, you get right into it. You gather evidence and look for motive. We're not going to have you spill the beans on everything in your book, but tell us the how and why we should be investigators, little detectives for our pets when all of a sudden they boycotted the litter box, or there's poop behind the couch, or they're starting to urine on the rug. Why do you say gather evidence and look for motive? That's a very good starting off point.
Well, because if you don't know why he's doing it, you can't correct the situation. Some cats, one I cite in there, and it was even surprising to me. I have to say, when I'm writing these books and I'm interviewing experts, sometimes it just blows my mind, the things they come up with. One expert said that some cats are afraid of the dark, and she had a client who had a cat who had to go through the laundry room into a closet off the laundry room. Well, the laundry room was dark. The closet was dark. And cats are predators. They are fierce predators, but they are also prey. And they are prey to anything that's larger than them. Coyotes and mountain lions and owls. And so, there's no end to anything, something that wants to eat you in the wild. And they don't realize that they're in the house. They don't realize that they don't have to worry about that owl lurking in the closet. And cats can see in low light, but they cannot see in the dark. So there may be dinosaurs waiting for them in that closet.
In their mind. Well, if there are dinosaurs, I want that person on my show. I want the person who has the dinosaur. All right, I know they're listening right now. Call us, will you? No.
Michelle Nagelschlader, I think is the way you pronounce it. But it was brilliant. She said that they put one of those little $2 battery lights in there, and the cat started using the litter box.
Nice. So the cat little light plug-ins are nice, you would recommend.
Yeah.
When you're gathering the evidence, there's actually listeners, she's got 3 pages of questions. And I think you're like, what? But then you're like, oh, that's very comprehensive. Everything about the litter box, the location, the eating habits, things that are going on in the house, any kind of health questions. This is very thorough. You are quite the detective. Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts, ma'am. Like Dragnet. Now I'm really citing how old I am, but all you listeners.
Friday.
Friday. Oh, Josephine Friday. But that is really because you say you have to gather clues, because in a household, it could be many reasons: health, behavior, environment. And also, if you have more than one cat, you address that in your book too. It's kind of hard to identify the culprit sometimes, right?
It really is. And I have a section on multi-pet homes, not just multi-cat, because usually where you have one cat eliminating inappropriately, you've got everybody else doing it. Because if it smells like a toilet, it's a toilet. And, people say, well, I caught Fluffy. Well, she may have caught Fluffy, but it's entirely possible that Tiger and even big old Max, the dog, is eliminating in the same area. So there are ways to tell whose pee it is. There's a drug called fluorescein, and it's a non-toxic drug. It's usually used to stain the eye so that the doctor can find abrasions, and they use a black light to find it. Well, anyway, you give it to the cat in an oral form. They just dilute the little strips in water, and then the pee will glow a certain color. Everybody else's pee is going to glow because pee glows under black lights.
Well, say that again. It's called, what is it called, and where can people find it?
Fluorescein, and you have to get it from your vet. It's a little strip that they put in your eye, and it stains it. Mm-hmm. And so under a black light, it will glow instead of yellow like normal pee. It'll glow this green yellow.
Oh, nice.
It's very vibrant. And it takes about 48 hours to dissipate, and it only comes in one color. So you have to do one animal at a time, and then wait 2 or 3 days, and then do another animal at a time. But if this has been a chronic problem, a week or so is not going to make a big difference.
No.
But,
that's a great tip.
The one caveat
I
have is it can potentially stain your carpet permanently. So if you have like a white carpet, you might want to color test it. On the other hand, if you've got a white carpet, it's probably already damaged anyway. So
yeah, that's true. No, I like that. Folks, we're speaking with Dusty Rainbolt. She is one of the, probably I'd arguably say one of the world's best cat experts. She does work with a lot of folks that are veterinarians and certified in animal behavior. She herself is got the chops because you've got some initials after your name. You're with the International Association of Animal Behavior Consultants, and you're one of their associate cat behavior consultants. She's written the book, Kittens for Dummies. Come on, guys. And Cat Wrangling Made Easy. So this Cat Scene Investigator book we're talking about today, Solve Your Cat Litter's Box Mystery, is just one in a series of great books by a great person who really is your cat's best friend. And we're going to find out more about how you can crack the case of the mysterious pee and poop outside your litter box after we take this quick commercial break. So sit, purr, groom, whatever you need to do. We'll be right back.
Time for a walk on the red carpet, of course. Oh Behave will be back in a flash right after these messages.
Hi, I'm Dana Humphrey, the founder of Whitegate PR. We have been specializing in PR and marketing in the pet industry for over 10 years. If you have a pet product or service you would like to promote, give us a call. We can help create awareness for your brand on TV, radio, magazines, newspapers, and blogs. Feel free to reach me directly at 619-414-9307 or learn more on our website at whitegatepr.com or follow us on Facebook.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Hi, this is Jen Davis, the creator of Garfield, urging you to listen to the Oh Behave Show with Arden Moore on Pet Life Radio.
Oh, yeah? We'll see about that.
We're back from the lot. Just checked the paper and we had a record showing at the box. The letter box, that is. Now back to Oh Behave. Here's Arden.
Welcome back to the O Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden. I'm delighted that we have Dusty Rainbolt on our show. Again, she is the author of a new book. It's called Cat Scene Investigator, Solve Your Cat's Litter Box Mystery. And we're giving away an autographed book to the person who emails Arden at PetLifeRadio.com. In the subject header, just put Cat CSI. I don't want to have you can put pee and poop if you want. That might get my attention too. But you've got to admit, when you're at let's say you're at a cocktail party or you're meeting people over the holidays or something, and people say, and you are, my name's Dusty, and what do you do? Do you ever say I'm a pee, poop, and puke expert, or what do you do?
Well, I did. At one time, people called me the litter box queen because I was testing so many cat litters. And anyway, so my mother is so proud. My daughter's the litter box queen. But, yeah.
Is there a little crown with that? Do you get a tiara? I know you. Instead of a scepter, you get a litter box scooper that's shaped like a specter or whatever they call that, right? Your little wand. Your wand could be
There you go. Yes,
it could be in glitter.
I need to come up with a Jules cat litter scoop. I'm going to do that. You have inspired me.
All right. You heard it first here on the O Behave Show. We have the talented Dusty Rainbolt who's going to create her own bedazzled litter box scoop that you're going to round. I can just see it now. But, as joking aside, this is a big deal because some cats, unfortunately, are getting, quote, busted and being sent to shelters or even kicked out of their homes. And that, we don't want that. But so you have your humor in this book, but there's a great mission you have.
I really do. I've been rescuing cats for 30 years now, and a lot of times I wind up with these cats. They've been taken to the pound because they are peeing outside the box. Mm-hmm. And, it's so sad because you change their environment, and so many times they do what they're supposed to. Sometimes it's they're afraid, like the light.
Right.
Sometimes the dog is sitting there waiting for him to finish, going to the box. There's just so many things. So if you change certain elements of your environment, there's a good chance that you are going to be able to work through it. So I just beg people to have a little patience and be a detective.
That sounds good. And you also talk about the crime scene cleanup. You know, there is a right and wrong way, because you can unintentionally use cleaners that will beckon cats that weren't committing urine crime to come and make a donation, right?
Oh, absolutely. Never, ever use anything with ammonia, because urine contains ammonia, and the cats are going to go, oh, that's where she wants me to go.
Really? So that's like our equivalent of baking cookies in the oven, right? They like the smell, and it makes them go back to make a urine deposit. Oh, cool. Okay. So no ammonia. Okay. What other no-nos? And then yes.
Well, you have to be very careful, because some products are toxic to cats.
Okay.
So you have to be careful. A lot of people like the bacteria enzyme odor removers. I'm not a fan, because I live in Texas, and some of those products actually have to be, the rug has to be moist for 72 hours. You need to read the directions.
Wow.
And so, so if you have that, and it's a warm, moist environment like Houston, you could wind up in worse shape with mold, and you don't want mold in your carpet. And I do like the oxygen products. They're, I don't know if I can talk about specific
You can say
products.
names. Go for it.
Okay. There's a product called Zero Odor, and it's an oxygenation product, and it works immediately, and that's what I like. The other problem with the bacterial enzymes, it takes them a while to work, and the carpet has to remain moist. You can't go, oh, it's dry, I need to wet it again. If it's dry, then the bacteria ceases to work and you need to start over again. If after you've done your 72-hour treatment, it's still there, then you have to retreat.
And that sounds like a big, big hassle, Is there any homemade things we can do that are safe and trying to clean up on urine, like especially in a rug?
Well, one thing, soda.
Club soda?
Carbonated water. Yeah, that helps sometimes. But more than that, it's more important to know how to clean the carpet. Potty stains are like an iceberg. Think of the iceberg that took down the Titanic.
Right.
The iceberg on the tip above the water is just this little area. And maybe where your cat has gone, it's the size of a quarter or a silver dollar. But underneath, with the pad and everything, it could spread out to the size of a dinner plate.
Wow.
So that little tiny stain is actually huge underneath. Now, if you are just treating the area that looks like a silver dollar, then you still have this big plate-size area around there that's not getting treated. And, maybe your product is working just fine, but it can't treat what it's not touching. So you need to saturate to the floor the whole area. And if that doesn't work, you might need to pull the carpet up and treat the subflooring. And if you do that, hydrogen peroxide can treat the concrete or the wood.
Okay.
And then you want to seal it. So that's a little trick. That's just one of the many tricks that you'll read about in Cat Scene Investigator.
And I'm laughing because as you were giving this intricate description of how the right and the wrong way, pet safety cat Casey just walked in and was almost walking on my keyboard. And I swear he's got a pen in his hand. He's writing down notes. He's a lefty like me.
Aren't most cats lefties?
I think they are. They're southpaws. Oh, bad joke. Okay. Hey, we're talking with Dusty Rainbolt. She is the author of a new book you've got to have if you love your cat. It's called Cat Scene Investigator. Solve your cat's litter box mystery. And I know you're doing some book signings and things like that. I would be remiss. You got to find out about this gal. Her website is dustycatwriter.com. And this lady knows everything about Star Trek. Paranormal, science fiction. You have such a friggin' boring life, don't you, Dusty?
Well, I do now, but...
No, you don't. You got a natural... You're as curious as a cat.
I am. I guess it was only natural that I should be drawn to cats eventually. So...
Well, tell us a little bit about the non-cat side of you, because, you're a redhead, and you've written a book with a couple other redheads or 3 other redheads, and your work with science fiction.
Mm-hmm. I have a paranormal mystery set in the Baker Hospital in 1939. This is based on a real hospital, and the protagonist is fictional, but everything around her is historical fact. And that's kind of fun. It's a ghost story.
And what's the book called?
It's called Death Under the Crescent Moon, Yard Dog Press.
Okay.
Available on Amazon. And then there's also the Four Redheads of the Apocalypse series. And as you said, I co-authored that with 3 other redheaded authors. And it's kind of funny. It's a little irreverent, so if you're easily offended, don't get it. But if you're not easily offended, you'll probably enjoy it. It's the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse have died in a nasty ice fishing accident, and the socialite wives have had to take over the family business. And to say they are inept is an understatement.
Well, I think you have a great imagination. I mean, when you were a little kid, did your mom and dad think you had a pretty good imagination?
They didn't know I had a good imagination.
Oh,
I kind of kept that to myself. Yes. Yes. But, yeah, I always have. I started writing science fiction stories when I was in the 3rd grade. So, yeah, it's been a long interest of mine.
Well, you've had quite a life, and you've got more in you. Trust me, I'm not like writing your epitaph or anything right now. But back to your crime scene investigator. I love the title, Solve Your Cat's Litter Box Mystery. I mean, what do you think? I mean, because it is a subject people don't always talk about, but it's an important issue. And you're kind of having fun with the CSI genre that people like. But in the end, though, you really put a lot of science. So you've interviewed some pretty stellar folks in the world of pet medicine.
Mm-hmm. One of my tech, I had Dr. Cindy Bergoni, who is a cat specialist in Houston, was one of my tech editors, but also Dr. Tony Buffington, who has done so much research in the area of litter box issues and health. And so some of this is super cutting-edge medical, and it's very surprising. So I really urge people to read the medical section, and hopefully you won't find it boring.
No, it isn't, because you have comics on every intro, and they're pretty funny. So I love your comics, and I think that's Stephanie Pirro is the one who did these.
She is, and she is fabulous. She brought exactly what I needed to the book. So, and I know that people will learn more easily if they're laughing.
Right.
So it's not that this is a light or funny subject, but I know that people will read a little longer if they're happy and entertained. So that's why we went that way.
Yes, humor is a powerful healing tool. I will say that.
You are the master of that. I mean, you're such an entertaining host. So it takes one to know one.
Yeah, it does. And I guilty as charged. I am a good friend of Dusty Rainbolt. I have to admit that. And I'm very, very proud of her, because I think this book, with the humor and the science, is the perfect recipe for success in bringing people to realize they can do things to find out what's causing this issue and be able to have the cat stay in their home and even have a stronger relationship with their cat, and no longer have anybody come to see them going, oh, you have cats. Right, Dusty?
Absolutely. And let me be an advocate one more time for going to the vet. I had a pair of foster cats that were just the most fabulous brothers. They were about 4 years old.
Okay.
And they went to what I thought was a fabulous home. And one day I heard from him, and he's pooping in the tub. Well, to me, pooping in the tub isn't a big deal. It's like, oh, thank you for pooping in the tub.
Yeah.
And I said, well, take him to the vet. Oh, we've been to the vet. Well, this behavior continued, and finally he called me and said, you have to come get him. I can't deal with this anymore. So I did. I took him to the vet, and he was in end-stage liver failure.
Oh, my gosh.
And if the man had taken the kitty to the vet as he said he did, he could have been saved. And it was a plea for help. It was a plea for help.
Yeah, at least did it in the tub. Yeah.
Yeah, but so many times cats can't communicate and say, you know what, I don't feel good. This is how they communicate. So never assume that your cat is just being bad.
Well, yeah, you hear that. They're being spiteful. I don't really think cats could care about being spiteful to you. That's not on their radar, is it?
No, it's not. And there was another situation. Lady was telling me, oh, my cat is suddenly too good to squat. He pees over the side
Really?
of the box. And I said, really? And, I asked her a few questions. And finally I find out that this is a 12-year-old cat, and he doesn't squat anymore. But he's too good. I don't understand why people want to assume their cats are being spiteful. But
was it arthritis or what?
Well, that was my guess. And she said, no, he used to do it. And I said, yes, he used to squat, but now he's 12 years old and it hurts. Well, she was in her 60s, early 60s, I'm guessing. And I said, she said, well, he jumps on the counter, he jumps on the couch. It couldn't be arthritis. And I explained to her that to jump on the counter, the couch takes a split second. And if you do it, it hurts for that second. But, then it's over with. But when you're squatting, you have to maintain that position for 30 seconds, maybe a minute, who knows. And so I said, why don't you squat for a minute and see how that feels?
Very good, very good.
And then she went, oh, and she had so much more sympathy. So please don't assume that they're just being spiteful or jealous or whatever. I mean, what we interpret as jealousy may be fear because another cat is guarding the box.
That's right. That's right. These are all great insights into the world of cats and the litter box issue. And I'm really glad you could be on our show, Dusty. You're really going to help not only cats but their people too.
Well, thank you. It's an honor, and I hope we'll look at the book if they're having problems. And if you have a friend that has a problem, it's a perfect gift.
Yes, it is. It is called Cat Scene Investigator, Solve Your Cat's Litter Box Mystery. And please visit DustyCatWriter.com and learn a little bit more about our special guest, Dusty Rainbolt, that's been on our show. And I also want to thank Mark Winter. He is the executive producer of Pet Life Radio. We are the world's largest pet radio network. That's pretty good boasting. All right. Hey, folks, you can also follow me on social media. Just go to Arden Moore on Facebook or go to Arden Knows Pets on Instagram and Twitter. So remember, we're giving away a copy of this book autographed by the great Dusty Rainbolt. So email me at arden@petliferadio.com and put in the subject header Cat CSI or Cat P or whatever you want to do. And we're going to pluck a lucky winner, and Dusty is going to personalize and autograph a copy of this great book. You got to tell your friends about it because it's really going to save cat lives and alert and awaken people about really what's going on when a cat suddenly is not practicing the best feline etiquette in the bathroom area. So until next time, this is your flea-free host, Arden Moore, delivering just 2 words to all you 2, 3, and 4-leggers out there. Oh, behave.
Coast to coast and around the world, it's Oh Behave with Arden Moore. Find out why cats and dogs do the things they do and get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get great tail-wagging pet tips and have a fur-flying fun time. All Behave with America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore. Every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.